The last few years have not been kind to Naughty Dog. In 2020, they faced a major backlash over The Last of Us Part 2. The first season of the show came out, which was loved, but the second has not been received as positively. The ratings have tanked, the viewership has nosedived, and in general, I feel that people are pretty sick and tired of that story. And now Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet, is their next game to release, and it's already facing a lot of controversy because of the lead actress. But Neil Druckmann himself cannot seem to stay quiet because he has responded to the backlash, basically saying that they're ignoring it. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, on one hand, yes, I do think that it is important for artists to kind of stick to their guns, as he is saying, which I will read in a minute, but on the flip side, it is so important that companies listen, because if you don't listen to your customers and you push them away, you're not going to be able to sell copies of your product anymore, and then you're not going to make money, you're going to have to fire people, or you're going to have to shut down. And in Naughty Dog's case, they feel that they are a step above the rest, that their ranks are filled with people who are elites, and they don't have to take people's feedback into consideration, which is a god-awful mindset, and it's the one that Neil has. So it says Naughty Dog's president, Neil Druckmann, responded to the backlash against the company's upcoming game, Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. Now, is he actually going to acknowledge why we are criticizing this game? Absolutely not. It happened with Abby as well. Oh, you guys are just sexists, and gamers just don't see our vision, which is so funny now that the show is released, because it is facing major problems. The ratings are tanking, viewership is plummeting. It just goes to show that it's not only toxic gamers that didn't like the Joel in One story decision, it's TV viewers as well, moviegoers, it's the average individual who doesn't see your vision, who doesn't agree with that vision. But Naughty Dog announced Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet back in December at the Game Awards with an announcement trailer. The trailer immediately received negative feedback, with it receiving over 250,000 dislikes just 2 weeks after it premiered on the YouTube channel. The lead actress, Tati Gabrielle, is a major part of this controversy, and she has brought so much backlash upon herself. Of course, she has said, we're racist and sexist. Initially, people were not happy with the look of the game because she seemed like a bitchy, strong, independent woman. It is an archetype now that is completely overused, and it's fine to have a strong female who isn't always feminine, but when every other female character in a video game is that way, it's not going to go over well with people. And that's a major reason it received a lot of backlash. Now, this game could have come out, it could have been amazing, but she has pushed a lot of people away now because instead of just allowing individuals to have their opinions, her response was posting this image, was reposting it. Fragile masculinity, 100% incel tears. You mad bro, so DEI-licious. Now, I totally get that she is a human being and she is going to have her own opinions. But if you want to respond to backlash, basically flipping people off and saying, "Are you mad, bro?" is not the way to go about it. She could have simply said, "Hey, listen, I understand that there's a lot of criticism being levied towards this game right now, and that is totally okay. You are allowed to have your opinion. You might not like this game, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. The team has put a lot of effort into this, and over the next few months, you're going to be seeing some more screenshots and trailers, and I hope that you at least give it a chance. Thank you so much for being so passionate." She could have at least said something that sounded mildly respectful, but instead it's flipping people off and saying, "You mad, bro." She is representing a game that cost hundreds of millions of dollars. She is representing a massive company in the industry, Naughty Dog. You would think that she would want to act a little bit more professional, but that's just not her mindset. Now, Druckmann has shared his own thoughts about the backlash during an appearance on the Sacred Symbols Plus podcast. He said, "I don't know if there's much I could add to the conversation, to be honest. There's stuff happening right now with media that you have to, I feel, ignore for the most part and just stick to your guns and do what you believe in. And I feel like that's how I would want artists to carry themselves." And I do agree with this to a certain extent, People need to be able to make what they feel confident in and what they want to make, but you're also not making this art for yourself. You're not just making a game for you and your group of friends to play. You're making this game for a broader audience. And if you don't listen to that audience and you ultimately do not respect that audience, you're not going to get that audience's sales. And it's like companies that are ran by individuals like Neil are more worried about the message that they're getting across. And obviously, this game has not come out yet. We don't know all that much about it. But when this is the initial reaction is, you're criticizing our game? I don't know what to tell you. It just doesn't come across very well. And of course, he's going to Sacred Symbols Plus podcast, which they have done some really good interviews in the past, put out some really good information in the past, but he's not talking to his critics. He's simply sitting in an echo chamber, which is also another major problem. Neil Druckmann doesn't actually want to have a hard conversation with somebody that disagrees with him or is questioning his art. He just wants the yes men around him, which is very bad, at least in my opinion. It doesn't come across as genuine. It just comes across as he wants to yap about his product, but he doesn't actually want to allow people to raise questions. He, of course, though, goes on to say, you know how this works. I can't tell you when we're going to announce or show something. I could just say I'm very excited for this game, maybe as excited as I've been for every game or any game. It's very cool. It's the deepest gameplay we've ever done, and I can't wait to show it off, which it sounds like he is excited for it. And I'm sure most people behind this project are excited for it. But Neil just needs, I think, a little bit of PR training because he doesn't sound very genuine in this first part. This is a long interview. It's not like it is just this clip, but it is interesting that this is the way that he has responded to the backlash, and it's almost as if he's ignoring it or playing it off as if it's not that serious, because he had mentioned, there's stuff happening right now with the media that you have to ignore. Why is he not actually giving detail to that? Because he doesn't want to piss off the Access media, but he also, I think, recognizes that Naughty Dog is not in the best position at this point, that there is a lot of public scrutiny. No matter what they put out next, they are going to face a lot of criticism, most likely, unless this comes out and is absolutely perfect. And I just do not think that these very tailored interviews are the way to go. He needs to come out, he needs to sound more genuine, he needs to sound a little bit more respectful to his audience, and of course, that's not going to happen. I mean, he thinks all gamers are just toxic bitches, but Naughty Dog's president, Neil Druckmann, is now responding to this backlash against the Intergalactic Heretic Prophet, playing it off, saying, hey, listen, we don't need to actually pay attention to the media. We just need to let it go. We need to create what we want, which I do agree with to a certain extent. But at the same time, you need to respect your customers, and that's not something that Naughty Dog's done in a very long time. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.